In this video, I'm going to work through the investment calculator. If you don't have your workbook set up like this, you'll need to pause the video and insert these titles along here. These are the titles we'll use for the workbook. I'll give you a moment to do that. All right, these values to get started are just plugs. We'll put some values in here. We'll come back and change them later. We're going to have an initial investment of $500. So to start this IRA, we're going to put $500 in. We'll assume a 10% growth rate. And as a monthly contribution, we'll put in $100 a month, at least for the first year. We'll set up so that that can be changed in subsequent years. We want to put the age of the person for whom we're creating this IRA. We'll say 19. Maybe we'll go up and change that to 3, let's say, starting when they're young. And then in a little bit, we're going to want to be able to put in an age and have it return the value of the IRA at the birthday, the beginning of the age, that age for the person. So I'll put 65 in here for now. We'll build another line here in a minute, but we'll get back to that. Let's create the age column first. Now what we're going to find as we build workbooks like this where we create a table is there will be values for the first year and then calculations and values for the second year. Once we have the second year done, we can go ahead and copy it all the way through. But the first year many times is a different set of calculations than the second year. All right, so let's start the age. The age here, we're going to go up and get the starting age, and then we'll go ahead and take that starting age and increase it by 1. And we'll go ahead and just do the second year all the way down. We're going to set this up to work for 100 years. So we'll take this down to cell 109. Here we go, 109. Click and drag the autofill node. So we go 100 years from 3 to 102. I guess that's only 99 years, isn't it? So let's put one more year in there. There we go. From 3 to 103. Okay, let's start with the beginning balance. The beginning balance is given. The initial investment when we start this will be $500. The monthly contribution, we have that right here. That will be $100, whatever we set that amount to be. We're going to look there. The principal then that we're going to have at the end of this first year is going to be the beginning balance plus $100 a month for 12 months. So we'll take our beginning balance and we'll add to that our monthly contribution times 12, and that gives us our principal for the year. Now we want to take a look at our earnings, and for earnings we're going to assume that, just do a simple interest calculation. The beginning balance of $500 is going to be in the account all year, so it'll earn the full 10%. The monthly contribution, we'll put in $100 a month, lead up to $1,200 for the year end. So we'll assume that at any given time we have half of that value in there earning interest. So we'll calculate the interest on our beginning balance, multiply that times our interest rate. Then we will add to that our monthly contribution times 6, so half of that, and we'll multiply that times our interest rate. That gives us our earnings for the period. Ending balance, is our principal plus the interest that we earned. All right. Now, for year 2, we're going to continue these calculations. So our beginning balance for year 2 will be our ending balance for year 1. And we'll get our monthly contribution. We'll get the previous month. Again, we'll calculate our principal, which we can just copy this down and it will calculate for us our principal amounts. Now we'll calculate our earnings. If I had taken and made this an absolute value up here, I'll place my cursor in B3 and press F4, place my cursor in B3 and press F4. Now I can just copy this down and get the earnings. You'll see that the relative and absolute cell references work just fine. And then my ending balance, again, I can just copy that down and get my ending balance, 3251. I'm going to go ahead and format these cells. I'll format all of these cells so that we have no pennies, commas as separators. Okay. Now I'm going to take the second row and copy it all the way down just by double clicking on the autofill node, and you can see it goes all the way down to 103 years. We'll go ahead and expand those a little bit. And you can check to see if you did this correctly. If you did this correctly using the numbers that I used, you should have as your final value here at 103 years, $198,566,024. So that's correct. Now we'll go ahead and make the adjustments required so that the user can change the monthly contribution amount, the beginning of year contribution, or the actual balance. We'll assume that these changes are made at the birthday. So here's the age. On the birthday, we'll decide to increase or decrease the monthly contribution amount, or we'll make a lump sum contribution as a birthday gift. Or every year on their birthday, we might get a statement that will give us the actual balance of the IRA, and we'll want to put that in so that we would be able to update, correct our model for actual performance of the fund. Now, we're not going to do anything for the first year. If you wanted to change the monthly contribution amount or make a beginning of the year contribution in the first year, you'd just change the initial investment. That would be the beginning of the year contribution, or you'd change the monthly contribution amount here. That will do it for the first year. For the second year, we want to be able to put a value in here. So we're going to change this monthly contribution amount from this value here that is equal to the value or the contribution amount above it. We want this now to check to see if the value in H11 is equal to a blank. If it's equal to a blank, we're going to get the previous month's monthly contribution amount. Otherwise, if it isn't equal to blank, we're going to take the new monthly contribution amount and put it in there. We're going to assume that we don't put a negative value in here. We could set the cell, the data validation in the cell, not to allow a negative value. We may do that later. All right, so it's going to look to see if that value is there. I'll just double click to copy that formula all the way down. I'll give that a try and put a 50 in there, and sure enough, it changes it, and I'll put a 75 there. You can see how it changes that value. So that's working, changes all the calculations. The beginning of year contribution is pretty straightforward. We're just going to come over here to our second year, and if there is something entered in the beginning of the year contribution. We're going to add that to the ending balance of the previous year, and that will become the new fund amount. We'll just copy that all the way down by double-clicking, and so I'll put another 1,000 in here, see if that works. Works just fine. Okay. And then finally, we want to be able to adjust for the actual balance at the end of the year when we get the statement. So we're going to use that if statement again, and we'll just take a look and see if the actual balance value equals a blank. Then we're going to go ahead and take our earnings plus our principal. Otherwise, if it's not equal to a blank, we're going to go over here and get this actual balance and put it in. So we can see that puts us right back to where we were. I'll double click and copy all that all the way down. Now you can see if I got an actual statement for $4,000, that would change it. I get one here that's $10,000, and that changes that. Now, one of the things I want to be able to do is to indicate a retirement age and see the IRA value at that age. So I'll go ahead and make a smart label here because I want it to be labeled correctly, and I might change that age. IRA value at, leave a space, put a quote, there I have my variable, use the ampersand and a space to connect to whatever age the user places in cell B6, another space, another ampersand, another space, and then in quotes I'll put my colon, and that gives me the IRA value. I'll write justify that, 65. If I put 70 in here, now it's 70. Now to calculate this, I'm just going to go ahead and use a lookup statement. I'm going to look up the age the user provides. My lookup vector will be here. I'll just place my cursor there, hold down the shift key, press and release the N key, press and release the down arrow, comma. I'll scroll back up, and we'll get the ending balance for that age, so we'll know how much the IRA is worth at the end of age 65. So she would be, or he would be 66 just about in this case. You could do it either way you want. Hold down the shift key, press and release the end key, press and release the down arrow, parenthesis. There we go. We can format this the way we like it. Use the format painter. That just fine. I'll check that. I'll just enter age 10 here to see 1541, 15481 right there. That's how you make the investment calculator.